Hey guys, in today's vlog, we're going to take a closer look at one of the things that comes up all the time, but maybe people don't really consider, which is what is the best seal material to use in like a Waukesha PD pump, either Universal 1, a Universal 2, or Universal 3. And then we'll try to give you kind of some background and insight as to why we might choose a certain seal material. We'll give you a couple of examples of each. So hopefully this will make you more informed the next time you're reviewing a quote for a Waukesha pump or thinking about if you're having frequent seal failures, maybe a different material you want to consider instead of just saying, this pump is no good, I need to get something else. We're going to kind of run through the full gamut of seal material options, and hopefully you can figure out which one is best for your PD pump application. So from a real high level standpoint, now not all of these materials are available in the Universal 1 and the Universal 2, but for instance, tungsten carbide is available in the Universal 2. We see chrome oxide a lot more in the Universal 1, but like carbon and ceramic are probably our two most common seal materials, so we'll start with those. Those are available in the Universal 1, Universal 2, and Universal 3. We'll also take a little bit of a look here at silicon carbide. All right, so let's start all the way to the left. Our most common seal material is a carbon inner seal. Typically, we see that running against a ceramic seal seat. The reason we use carbon a lot is it provides the greatest economy and the best lubricity for sealing, especially with non-abrasive products. It's good for clean, abrasive-free fluids, self-lubricating properties. It has self-lubricating properties that reduce heat, so it can mitigate a lot of friction, and then it doesn't cost a lot. So if you drop it on the ground, you crack it, it's not the end of the world. This is probably the seal that we see 65-75% of the time. It's your standard out-of-the-box seal for a Waukesha PD pump, whether that's a Universal 1, Universal 2, or Universal 3. It'll mate with any other seal material, but most commonly we see it run with ceramic as a seal seat. And as we kind of mentioned above, it provides low friction, great chemical compatibility, good thermal stability, and it's very cost effective. So it's our cheapest seal material by far. The next one that we see, and again, this is paired it's typically paired with carbon in our most common in the majority of applications that we see a mechanical seal used, either a single mechanical or a double mechanical seal, and that's ceramic. And ceramic is a harder material. So when it's harder, it provides greater resistance to abrasive materials than your standard carbon. We compare it with carbon, chrome oxide, and itself, and then it provides good strength and stiffness, good hardness and wear resistance, good corrosion resistance, good thermal stability, and it's our lowest cost of all hard materials. So it's just sort of good at everything. One thing that we see a lot actually is for people who may have frequent seal changeouts just as part of cleaning or something like that, but are running some aggressive products, is they'll run ceramic versus ceramic. That's a pretty common thing. It's kind of like a poor man's silicon carbide, so it's a little less expensive, but still gives you that great seal hardness for abrasive fluids. The next material we'll talk about is we're actually going to skip over a column here and look at silicon carbide. Silicon carbide is the hardest material that Waukesha offers. It has it's a really robust material. We see it in tons of application where we have high speeds, lots of heat, you need chemical compatibility as well as abrasion resistance. And we'll often see it paired with silicon carbide. That's probably the most common way we see it used, is silicon carbide versus silicon carbide. You can also pair it with tungsten carbide and carbon. So one thing we will see is people who will run like a tungsten carbide inner seal and then a silicon carbide seal seat. That just saves a little bit of cost. Silicon carbide has, as we kind of mentioned, excellent wear resistance, excellent resistance to corrosion and acids and alkalis. It's resistant to oxidation, good thermal thickness. It retains its strength at high temperatures. It is kind of fragile though, so it's excellent at everything from a chemical standpoint, from an abrasion standpoint. But it is fragile, so a lot of times, and I know I've been guilty of this, when you install a new seal seat, you have to take good care because you can damage that. So it is fragile. You want to handle it with care. But where ceramic is good, silicon carbide is great. It's a little bit more expensive. It's kind of a premium. But I would say that is, when we get into more challenging applications, that's our most common move. We go from carbon versus ceramic all the way up to silicon carbide, silicon carbide. I mentioned a ceramic pairing. That's more specialty, kind of nuanced application where, we have good run data. We know how long people are going to run products for or want to run a seal for. What kind of life they're expecting. That's when we'll run ceramic. But typically speaking, we'll go from carbon ceramic to silicon carbide, silicon carbide. The next material we'll talk a little bit about is one that we see a lot in Universal 1 applications, and that's chrome oxide. The chrome oxide seal is pretty cool because it's a machined stainless piece that is then coated with chrome oxide. This helps resist high starting torque. So if you have a sugary material that kind of takes a set and causes the seal faces to stick together, with a ceramic or a carbon or especially a silicon carbide, you can see some chipping or wearing on that where the seal will sort of shatter because the seal faces are stuck together. Chrome oxide does a really good job of handling those types of applications, and because it's made out of stainless steel, it's extremely robust. You can drop it on the ground and you're probably not going to damage it. Typically, you can run it against carbon, but we'll usually see that more when we run carbon as an outer seal on a double mechanical seal. If we need to go to chrome oxide, we're usually going to run chrome oxide versus chrome oxide. So as I mentioned, this is great for sticky products that set up, like sugar applications, marshmallow, we see it a lot. It provides good toughness. It can tolerate rough handling, but it is more expensive. You also want to watch availability on this. This is one that the way that they're made, you basically have a stainless steel part that's made by one vendor and then it's coated by another vendor, so lead times can be a little bit longer. We do a good job stocking chrome oxide seals at Triplex, but if you are a regular user of chrome oxide seals, that may be something you want to consider. The last material we'll talk a little bit about is tungsten carbide. So tungsten carbide is kind of what we see in Universal 2 applications for those sticky crystallized products, right? We don't see chrome oxide, we see tungsten carbide in Universal 2s. Using a nickel binder, the Waukesha tungsten carbide has excellent corrosion resistance and properties for food and bev applications. It's still a food grade material. It's good for applications with high starting torque, shock, and loading. It'll mate with carbon, silicon carbide in itself. Again, the most common pairings there are going to be tungsten carbide versus tungsten carbide or tungsten carbide versus silicon carbide. Again, great for sticky products that set up or crystallize, products that plate. It is available with a narrow face or like a knife edge face, they call it. We've done some posts on that in the past that kind of lets it cut through some of the product. And this is especially helpful for applications where we see like plating. So we've done some plastic applications in tungsten carbide where the silicon carbide, and even carbon ceramic have failed within seconds. And then when we go to the tungsten carbide with a knife face seal running against silicon carbide, we get excellent seal life. Again, this is it's a very robust material, so it is made of stainless as well, and it's coated with the tungsten carbide, and so you can handle it a little more. You don't have to worry about dropping it or chipping it. Great wear resistance, very high corrosion resistance, and great for higher temperature applications. So that's kind of the overview of the different seal materials that we have for Waukesha positive displacement pumps. Again, our most common pairing, the most tried and true pairing is going to be carbon ceramic. If we need to step up from there, our first step is going to be silicon carbide. And then from there, we're going to consider the more specialty materials, which would be like chrome ox for a U1 or tungsten carbide, silicon carbide for a U2. If you have any questions about what seal material is best for your pump application, feel free to contact us at Triplex Sales today. Hope you guys have a great weekend.